Hello everybody. How we doing tonight? Welcome back to another daily. It is Game Dev Daily number 39 tonight. And it's the 5th of March. Almost up to 40 dailies. Which, considering I'm only a little over 2 months in, pretty happy with. Some decent progress. Okay, what is the agenda today, huh? Well, today we're going to start looking into how the hell do you program semi-intelligent enemies. Because we're going to be looking at programming a really basic boss. So we'll I think we're going to go over just some basic kind of design first. Like, what do we think we want this boss enemy to do? How's it going to behave? How's it going to attack the player? Yada yada. So that's probably going to be the first focus. We'll probably do that for 10-15 minutes, and then we are going to hop into actually starting to code it. We'll also make a sprite for it, but I think I'm just going to use a recolored sprite of the player just so we don't waste too much time on the art, because if you've ever watched any of my other dailies, you know that oftentimes we do end up wasting way too much time making really shit assets. So I'm going to try and dodge that today. Alright. So I think actually we're just going to jump into some design stuff first. So I'm not going to actually make the asset yet, but what are we doing in this game for this enemy, right? So our arena is like this multi-tiered kind of platforms, very Smash Brothers Battlefield-esque is kind of what I was going for. Right, so it looks something like this. With the idea being that it is a water fountain and water sprays out the top and it comes down the sides, yada yada yada. Okay, you get the point. This top one I might get rid of actually and turn it to just be purely aesthetic, but for now, we'll just leave it as is. Player can jump on it, that's fine. So we have this pyramid shaped arena, and basically our player, right, is going to be able to navigate on any of these platforms. Oh, that pink is really indistinguishable against the gray. Let me fill the gray in as well. Maybe I'll do this. I've done this one on the wrong layer. You know what? I can fix this. Yo, what up, Potato? How you doing? Let me just... that's a pain in the ass. Okay, whatever. For now, I'll just do it all on one layer. That's fine. Okay, whatever. Let's give it a cream background. Might be a little easier to see. Well, we did make the platforms yesterday. So today we're actually trying to make an enemy to fight on it. So we are just designing, right? So the player is approximately this big. They can jump up and down between layers, right? So our enemy is going to be effectively the same thing, but they're going to be bad. But I want them to be pretty much a parallel to the player is kind of my plan here. And you know what? This I will put on top. I'll make this a layer on top so I can move this around. So here's our player. Here's our enemy. And then I think the way we're going to do this is really simple. Enemy chooses an action, right? They perform the action. The action might be moving. The action might be taking an attack. It might be some combination of the two. But they will effectively perform the action. And then after performing the action, they'll probably wait a little bit. And then they will just do it again, right? So they'll keep deciding, what am I going to do? What action am I taking? And we will work off that basis. So we kind of have to apply physics to the enemy in a similar way to how we do to the player. it's going to be, yeah, pretty similar. Although I think we only really have to worry about gravity as a force that we actually care about. And drag. We don't have to worry about like wall collision or anything because there just aren't any walls in this arena. So we only really have to worry about the enemy being pulled towards the ground due to gravity and being slowed when they move left and right. Now I'm gonna want this guy, which we're gonna give angry eyebrows, because all my enemies need to have angry eyebrows. I don't know. That's not really what I was going for. Let me do the eyes first. Oh, it's really hard. I should zoom in, probably. Okay. He's upset, right? We can tell. We can tell he's not happy. Not happy with the player. He's okay. Here's my ideas. I think we're gonna have like one move. One action is just gonna be to like jump up a layer, basically. So we'll have the guy jump up and end up like here instead. He should be able to like move left and right. So, I guess the other thing is like, okay, well, what attacks do I want other than just walking into the player? Like, if the player walks into the enemy, they'll take damage. Very standard platformer type deal. Like, if you touch any enemies at all, you take contact damage. So of course there'll be that, but I don't want that to be his like main form of attack. I want him to have a projectile attack pretty much identical to the players. So he's going to be able to fire projectiles. He's going to jump up and down. And then do I want to give him like a different ability? I think I'm happy with just like projectiles at the moment. I can maybe make it so that he can shoot up and down. But I think it's going to be more that like, okay, if he sees the players on the same tier as him, then shoot. He kind of needs to know where the player is in relation to himself. And we'll use that to drive his decision making. And I should give the player a face as well. There we are. Actually, I should probably give it the same face as I have it in the game, which is this. There we are. Okay, important graphic design. Alright, so we're going to be able to shoot projectiles, same as the player. He can jump up and down. He can fall through the platforms as well. Do I want to give him another attack? I could give him, like, a second phase that, like, once he reaches a certain point, he gets some effect. Maybe he, like, gets, like, a barrier around him or something. So it's just kind of like a bigger hitbox. But I think we keep it simple. We go with like just this for now. And we see how difficult is it to make this, first of all. Because there's like a decent amount involved here. Right, so let's leave this as the starting point. I am going to open another instance of MS Paint. Which we will not be able to see. But I'm just going to quickly make a new asset version of for the enemy. So bear with me for just a moment. I'm going to take the player. I'm going to make it hella red. And we're going to change its face as well. I need like a really light red. Oh, that's so ugly. How do I get like a nice looking light red? Maybe like that. There we go. Okay, I got there. Then I'm just gonna do a bit of that. Draw over it. I guess when you think about it, light red is really just pink, huh? I guess that's how that works. I think it's like 18 pixels. Oh, it's too much. 12? Probably a little, not enough. 14's probably the sweet spot. No, maybe it is 12. I think it was 12. Alright, I'm giving him just solid red eyes. He's hella angry. You just got to trust me. Okay, we've made him. He's very angry. It's very close to what I have done in the fountain diagram as well. So let me just save this, and I'll give you a look. Angry enemy. All right, and we're gonna pop open this. I feel like I've heard this track in people like YouTubers use it all the time. I feel like I never knew it was from Black and White. This is like a pretty iconic music track. All right. Where are we? Yoink, yoink, yoink. Yoink, yoink. All right, sprites. Where is sprites, entities, and imports? Okay, this is the guy I made. Oh, he's really big. What is the player's scale? 0.5, 0.5. Okay, today I learned. Apparently the player has a really big Z scale as well. Let me remove that. I don't know why it has a huge Z scale. I think I need to draw it at like 10. Alright, so very easy. This is the enemy. This is us. I think they work quite well. And the camera, I think, is set to like this. It's like about this level of zoom. I can literally just press play and find out. Should be about here though, I think. It's a bit more. I probably could zoom a little less then. And I also need to pull it up. I want to pull it up and zoom a bit less. Yeah, let's just do both of those things. That's fine. Camera bounds. God, it looks like a bit of a mess, huh? Fountain, X bound. So I wanted to... No, the ceiling bound's the one I want to adjust. The X bound is what has the zoom. Oh, no, that is right. That is right. Okay. I want to zoom in by a little less, maybe like 1.2. Oh, it's the floor bound I need to bump. Okay, I'm just not going to bother for the moment then. That's fine. This is something I wanted to change at some point anyway. But okay, we have something like this as the arena. So we're going to be able to shoot this guy over here. He's going to try and shoot us. And now we need to like actually make his AI, right? Okay, so let's just go. Let's just go. First thing I want to do is make a thing that can just randomly decide to do shit. So this enemy is always going to be in a state of aggroed on the player, right? I don't have to worry about like changing its state management too much for the moment. So what do I want to do? I've made an angry enemy and I need to make it a prefab. This guy is going to need a box collider, which is set to the right size, so that's good. And we're also going to have to give him a rigid body. This rigid body will be kinematic. Okay, that's all I really have to do there. I'm going to tag it as an... I'm going to give it the enemy layer. I'll tag it as an enemy. I'll figure out if I want to change that later. Okay, so this is it, and then we should be able to just make it a prefab. So, entities, we'll just drag it into the entities prefabs. Awesome. All right, next we need to make a new script. So let's open our scripts up. I think we're going to open and probably just close a bunch of my scripts. At some point, I like need to properly reorganize stuff as well. Because I don't really like how I organize my assets and scripts and stuff. Like, all of this stuff's just sitting out. It needs to go somewhere. Okay, so I need a new enemy script. Let's just copy one of these for now. I'll use the sloop is probably the best for the moment. Boss. I'm gonna call it boss 1 for now. I will update this to be boss 1. Why do I have so many imports here? Like, huh? I have like 1 million imports and I'm using 3 of them. It's very interesting. Okay. So what do we need for this guy? I think I want to have, I don't know if I want to have any serialized values yet. Do I need to have a facing direction? I think it just always faces the player. I'm not going to worry about a facing direction because it's kind of ambiguous which way it's facing anyway. So I won't worry about having any of these for the moment. I might leave this field in case I want it. I wanted to have a reference to the player. That's correct. A projectile is fine. I do want this. I just have to make one. Health is gotta be much bigger than 5. Let's set it to like 100, which I think is like 20 hits from the pea shooter. I might bump it up even more, but for now, that's fine. Player is equal to... Yep, that's all good. I don't care about this. Okay, state I'm not gonna need. And then most of this crap we just get rid of. I'll leave position diff, that's gonna be important. Delay, I will leave for now, but we're not going to use it at the moment. And then if we collide with the player takes 10 damage. Okay, so let's just try stapling this in and see what we get. I do want to actually... I'm going to call this just boss 1 attack. Alright, and boss 1 attack. So let's make the projectile first, because that'll take 2 seconds. We're just going to take our pea shooter projectile and we're going to color it red. Incredible, I know. Projectiles. So we have the P, and I'm gonna make, I'm gonna copy it and put it in here. Okay, I call it boss 1. What do I call it? Boss 1 attack. Okay, and all we're gonna do is come in here, click on this, click on the sprite renderer, and change the color. Whoa. That's crazy. Alright, so now the boss shoots these at us. Or it will at some point when we actually make it. Okay, so we have boss 1. The name weighting does not exist in the current context. Let me pop back. Yeah, let's just delete these for the moment. I can leave that. We're going to staple. I'll leave Anki Enemy outside, I guess. We're going to give it the boss 1 script. It has nothing super interesting on it. So now, if we click play, the boss 1 script shouldn't make it do much. If we collide with it, it's gonna damage us, which is good, what we want. We should probably have a higher sprite layer than the enemy, rather than it being random. Okay, and we can shoot it. It's currently just despawning the projectiles. I don't think it's doing damage, but maybe it is. If I shoot 20 of these, I surely have already shot 20 of them by now, right? It looks like they're just getting deleted. They're not actually, No, I'm wrong. Okay, it was doing damage the whole time. There you Probably what's happening is that the number particle, damage number, this thing has must have a render layer that's too low. Mesh renderer, that's what I want. Materials. How do I... Text mesh. Hold on. Change render layer of mesh renderer. Sure to set your depth draw to settings in your camera inspector. Huh? This one. Let me set this to 10. Is that what this does? Depth? Let me see if this is even actually spawning numbers, because it might not be. Oh, it is. Huh. If I put it here. Okay, it's definitely just behind it. First, set your depth draw to settings in your camera inspector. Unhelpful. Have layer order a sprite over a mesh renderer. How can I get sprite display over a sprite renders? How do I get mesh renderer sprite? The default 3D renderers draw stuff according to Z depth, distance from camera. Sprite renderers draw stuff according to the sorting layer and sorting depths. UI canvas renderers draw in linear transforms. Wow, that's freaking useless. Okay, we can probably ignore this for now and come back to it later. Let's do the actually interesting stuff, huh? Okay, so one thing I want to do is apply gravity to this thing. In the same way that we apply gravity to the player. We would like to apply gravity to this guy. So, let's do that. We're going to base it off the player script. So let me close a whole bunch of scripts here. Okay. In order to handle gravity, we are going to need down and down hit. So I'm going to get this. This gets set in fixed update. Not edges of the player's hitbox, it's going to be edges of the boss's hitbox. Bottom of hitbox. Is there really not a better way to do this? Guess not a super way to do it. Okay. And then down is just a float. Do I need to... I guess I'll keep track of it. Private float down. Oh, it's a vector too, isn't it? Yeah, I'm sorry. Private vector 2 down. It's the bottom of our hitbox. And then the next thing we're gonna get is the down here, which is this. Down hit's also a vector 2? Oh, it's a raycast hit 2D. Okay. Private raycast hits 2D down hits. Alright, so we got these. We have down and we have down hit. So I believe that's just how far it is to get there. Now, where is down hit used? It would be used in the gravity. Yeah, so here's gravity. Okay. So we're basically going to do gravity here. So I want to have like check gravity and I want to have apply drag. So where do I actually, yeah, here, gravity drag. Let's just do this. So now fixed update, we're going to apply gravity and drag. And we're gonna write, well, so we're gonna write functions for these. We're actually just gonna copy them. So here is private void gravity. Check that we're not grounded. If we're not grounded, apply gravity. Okay, I can just use, I can get the is grounded thing then. I don't need to set this, right? Also, I can write this way simpler. Wait, what was I doing here? This is just this. Hello? Was I high when I wrote that? Like, that's all I have to write? I need a semicolon. Huh? Like, what was I cooking on this one? Hello? If this returned true, else return this, and it wasn't being like, that's dumb as bricks. If yes, return true, else return false is a crazy statement. I guess it's because I wrote it in line and I confused myself. Okay, apply gravity, speed. So I do need a speed vector as well. I believe, yeah, speed's just a vector too. So we're gonna copy this. And physics.gravity. I guess. Am I really gonna refer to physics? Like, I'm starting to think that I don't actually want to. That I should just give them their own physics. I think that's what I'm gonna do. So what is, like, I think I'm gonna get rid of this physics script, honestly. Physics, gravity 0.4. Okay, good to know. All right, let's leave it at that. And now we need to grab drag as well. Which is this. Gravity drag if we're moving left, and this value is 0.2. In fact, I might even give the enemy even more drag. I'll have the enemy stop a little faster than the player. Oh, but this is going to impact how fast the enemy can move as well. Okay, I'll leave it for now. It's fine. Alright, so we apply gravity, we apply drag. So the first thing we should be able to see is that if I grab this guy and I raise him up, he should fall down. The name ground does not exist. Where is that complaining about? Oh, here. Yeah, we do need that. We do indeed need this ground value. That's set in start. Ground is equal to this. And then I have a private layer mask. Private. Okay, and now we should be all good. So now we should be able to drop the enemy from up here. Or not. Interesting. So they're just straight up not dropping. Fixed up. Oh, because I'm applying the speed, but I'm not actually using the speed. Because I need to do this. I need to do collision checks as well. But I only care about collision checking the ground. So I can probably just copy this bit. Yeah, let's just copy this for now. What is frame speed? It's our speed plus extra speed multiplied by speed factor. And speed factor is speed factor multiplied by time dot delta. So this is just how far we intend to move then. So I should be able to use negative speed dot y. If down here dot distance is less than if the distance between is less than, is this really right? Down here dot distance is less, should it be greater than? No, if the gap is less than how far we're gonna go. So that's correct. But should this be negative? I feel like this should be a positive value, no? Negative frame speed dot y. I feel like that's wrong. Why is that a negative number? What does gravity do? Check there's actually ground under us. Check that we're not grounded. I don't actually need this. Apply gravity. Speed minus equals new vector 0.4. So it's going to go into negative. So I do have to use a negative number here. Yeah, okay, I guess I do. Because it's how far am I going to move in that direction? Okay, I figured it out, Alright, this does need to be negative. I don't care about this extra speed thing for now. What I do care about is using the translate. Transform dot translate by this number. Negative. Awesome. Okay. And then finally, the last thing we do is actually translate the player. Or in this case, the boss. Translate the opposition plus equals, we don't need this extra speed thing. And we're not going to use a speed factor. Let's just do multiplied by time.delta time. Let's just do that for now. I think that'll work. All right, let's see how this looks. Okay, it looked very fast is how it looked. I'm going to drag my player over here so I can see it better. Speed factor is 8. It shouldn't drop that fast, right? It looks pretty instant. So, we shouldn't actually be able to fall that fast. Let me raise my player up. And then we can raise the boss up as well. We should get a clearer picture if it is actually instant. So it started falling normally and then it zipped. So what's happening here then is that this is not working correctly. Down hit the distance. Is less than speed.y. How is the distance less than the speed though? Oh, I need to multiply it by time, delta time. Derp. I'm just dumb. Alright, that should actually work now. Because that's how far we're actually going to go. Awesome. Okay. So it falls really slow. So I'm also going to multiply this by 8 because that's the factor I use on the player. And now it should have the same falling speed, I'm pretty sure. Oh, it's straight through the platform. That's a good sign. How's it going through? Can my player get through it all? Doesn't look like it. Not only does it go through, it goes into the platform underneath. Check if we're gonna hit the ground. Speed plus extra speed multiplied by speed factor. Oh, I need to multiply by 8 again. Ay. This is why I should just make it a value that I use across the board. Okay, we fixed it. Alright, this guy is gonna be able to jump up and down between the platforms now. Or, yeah, sorry, he'll fall onto the platforms. So now the next thing I'll do is we'll let him make a decision on what he wants to do. And we're gonna just go with... Like, okay, one of the issues I have is... jumping is pretty easy. You just apply a vertical force, and I can make him jump the same height. Like, that's fine. He doesn't have to. I can like make it a little bit variable, but I can make him jump mostly the same height. The difficult part is like making him know that he's like between the platforms. That's the bit that I'm trying to figure out how to do now. So he's gonna know his vertical height. When he jumps, he's gonna go up a tier, and when he drops, he's gonna go down a tier. So let's like actually store that as a value, right? Private integer, and I'm just gonna call it floor, and it's gonna start at 0. So if it chooses to jump, it's gonna increment the floor count to 1, and if it chooses to drop it, it'll decrement it back to 0, right? And so this way we can keep a track of which floor the enemy's on, and then we can do different boundary things based on what floor they're on, right? Because we should know roughly where the fountain is in the world. So we can do some calculations based on that. I can probably literally get the fountain object. That's probably what I will do, actually. I'll get the fountain object, and then I'll get the children components, and I'll check their colliders to figure out where we are. Like, where we can be. Okay, but right now, let's just have, like, a timer. And it randomly chooses what to do. So that's what this thing here does. So I need to do stuff in here, basically. Actually, do it up top, I guess. And we will go back to the slooper for some of this. So if not waiting, okay, so we're gonna have a bool again for waiting. Private bool waiting equals false, and then we'll have an if not waiting here. If not waiting, it means we are ready to do whatever thing we want to do, right? And then at the end of if not waiting, we start a coroutine. Well, actually, I kind of don't even want to do that, though. I want to wait until after I've executed my action. Which might take some time. Ooh, yeah, I think we're going to have, like, coroutines for each action. Let's try that then. Let's make a jump coroutine. Yeah. So I have delay here. I'm gonna have a new coroutine that's just called jump. And I'm not gonna have a duration float here. We'll just wait for 1 second after we've done our thing. How do I know when my action's complete? I mean, I can just manually figure out how long it takes. Interesting problem. Okay, so here's what we're trying to do, right? Let's say that my enemy randomly decides, hey, I'm going to move. I'm going to jump up to the second tier, and I'm going to move to the right a little bit. How do I tell it? How do I know when it's done performing the action is basically the question. Other than just timing how long the action takes and waiting for it. Because I could do that. I could just, like, execute the action, like, tell it to do the thing. And I mean, maybe that is just what I'm doing. Tap, jump, wait, hold right for this many seconds, wait. I guess it is. Kind of thought about it now. I guess it is just what I'm doing. I might make an actions list then. That I can put actions into and then pop actions out of. And I can use that rather than having this waiting boolean. So in the fixed update, we're calculating the where the player is in respect to us. We'll do stuff with that later. We are calculating where the bottom of our hitbox is and how far the distance is to the ground. We're applying gravity and drag if necessary. And then we're moving the enemy. Now, we want to do all this crap after we've determined what action the enemy should take if they're ready to take an action. Basically, that's the caveat. As long as you're ready to take an action, then decide what action needs to be made. Now, the hard bit, if my voice doesn't crack, the hard bit is figuring out how can we tell the game when the enemy is ready again to make an action. Okay, well, we can do like move. Like move is pretty easy. Let's just do move, right? And then I'll have a bool called right. And then all we do is we say speed.x is equal to right. And then we set it to, I don't know, what does the player's move speed get set to? Or what's the top speed, I should say? Where is gravity, collision checks, drag, top speed? It's this max speed value. This max speed is set on the player's class, which is here. Player. Max X speed is 2, apparently. Okay. In which case 2 or -2. Right, and we're gonna move that direction for 1 second, let's say, yeah? So the first thing we do is that after we've executed waiting, I'm gonna do random. Where am I else am I doing random stuff? Spooder's doing random. Here I do action. Random.range. Okay, there it is. Turns afloat, min inclusive, max inclusive. But I can specifically give it to an int. And now we'll return an int, right? if I give it 2 ints, it returns an int. Min inclusive, max exclusive. So this will return either 1 or 2. And I'm just going to use this to determine whether or not we're moving left or right, but in reality it would work a little different. But for now, we're just going to randomly move the enemy left or right. And then we say, actually the first thing we do actually is we set waiting to be true. Waiting equals true. As soon as we go to execute an action, we set waiting to be true. Then we say start coroutine. And we want to use moving. It's move, I guess. Move, and then we're going to pass in... the right will just say rand is equal to 1. If rand is 1, we move right. If rand is 2, we move left. That's simple. I hate how it's min inclusive, max exclusive. Why do they do that? Why is it not double inclusive or double exclusive? It's actually so dumb. Anyway, whatever. And then the last thing I need to do is in move, I need to, after the yield return wait for seconds, I need to set waiting to false. Actually, I'm going to do a little speed.x is equal to 0. And then I'm going to yield return for another, let's say 0.5 seconds. All right, and what we should have done here is made it so that the enemy will just randomly move left or right for a second at a time. And it'll just keep doing it on loop. Look at him, he's wave dashing. He's too powerful. It looks like he's pausing for longer than he's moving for. How's that work? Oh, drag is killing him. Right. Maybe I just get rid of the drag function then. Okay. Yeah. Because for the player, we apply constant speed. But for an enemy, I don't need to check for an input, so I actually don't care. I can apply drag, but only if we're... Like, I want to turn drag on when we stop moving, basically. I mean, fastest way to go about this right now is just comment out drag. So there's no drag. It'll mean that the enemy will just very suddenly stop. Oh, a second is so long. Also moving way too fast. We can probably do like half that speed. So you do half that speed, we can do a float instead now. So let's do like 0.5f to 1. Oh wait, what am I talking about? It's this that I need to change. Where my blind move, right here. 0.5f, 0.5f. Oh wait, no. What am I? I'm dumb again. It's this one. That's 0.5f. Move for half a second, pause for half a second, rinse, repeat. Yeah, a bit more what I'm expecting. So he'll just choose to like move around however he wants. He might fall off the edge. I literally can't move left here? Why? Wait, actually, what am I colliding on here? I don't know what I'm colliding with. Is there anything here? very confused. I'm stuck on something right here. And I can jump over it. What in the world is it? Huh. There's something that I am hitting against here. And it won't let me... That's so strange. I don't know what's causing that. I'm very curious. Also, how far left is this guy going? Like, what is this RNG, hello? He's gone so far left of the spawn. He spawns like here. And he's gotten all the way over here. Just off coin flips. That's crazy. We're like well into the tails. He's going. Oh my god. It's the run of the century. Holy shit. Holy shit. That's 5 in a row, 6 in a row. Okay, this is probably not what I should be focusing on right now. Okay, so we've got a thing where we can move it left and right very easily, yeah? Now, I want to add a thing where it knows what floor it's on, and if it wants to, it can jump. So that's one thing we're going to do, right? Determine what floor it's on. If it can jump, then allow it to jump. If it wants to drop, it can drop. Both of those things are going to be dependent on where the player is in relation to the enemy. So if it detects that the player is a floor up, then it will jump up to follow the player, basically. Is more or less the idea. It's gonna like try and track the player. Whether that involves jumping or dropping. What else do we need to do? We need to figure out what the edges of the fountain are on each tier so it knows not to just like walk off the edge. Unless it wants to do that, we can make it like fall backwards off instead of dropping down. I'm just trying to brainstorm what else I'm going to want it to do. And obviously it should be able to shoot the player. At any point it should decide it can shoot the player. I'll probably let it choose to do like 1 or 2 actions. Because it should be able to do like 2 actions simultaneously, basically. So if it sees the players on the same floor as it, it can shoot at the player or it can like shoot and move. So yeah, I guess that's like one thing. That's like one of the first things to look at, right? If the player's on the same floor as the enemy, then it can shoot the player, obviously. It can also shoot and move to like do like a little juke. If it like the player's up here, I want it to be able to jump up. I don't know if I want it to have any other options. Maybe you can just like move closer to the player. If the player's too far away, you should be able to move closer. But jumping seems like it's probably going to be the #1 thing it does. It tries to get onto the same tier as the player. If it is above the player, and the player's down here, then I might drop. I don't know if I want to let this boss attack at like off angles like this, because the player can't do that, and I feel like I kind of want this boss to kind of mimic the player. It's just a shitty AI controlled version of the player. Like, later bosses, of course, are going to be able to just... I mean, like, I already have enemies in the game, right? Like, the spooters can shoot at, like, whatever angle. So we could drop... What else? It can drop, it can jump, it can move around, it can shoot. I mean, those are like really the most important things, I think. I don't really need to add much else. Yeah, I think that'll be the first thing to do. We need to get it to know what level is the player on and do decision making based on that. And we also need to know with the platform that it's on, how far does it extend left and right? That I care about as well. And that should be pretty easy to figure out, actually. Because I think we can just use the raycast we do to determine it. I think because the raycast is going to be hitting the floor anyway, we can figure out where the boundaries of that object is. And we can say, hey, don't walk off the edge. That's no good. Unless we do want to allow it. But again, we'll figure that out. So I reckon this is an okay spot to leave off here. And then tomorrow night we'll get into it in a bit more depth in terms of like the enemy decision making. But it's just going to be like a lot of like randomly driven decisions. Like what it decides to do. Of course, like you'll have like so many total actions, and then they'll be limited down to based on where the player is in relation to them, where it is in the arena, so on and so forth. So it should only really have like 3-4 options to actually pick from. But that's what we need to nut out tomorrow and actually determine what those options are going to be. So I think that is it for tonight. Thanks everyone who dropped by for tuning in. Hope you enjoyed the stream, and I will catch you all tomorrow. Have a good one.